Hello, my name is Gabriel from GabakUSA. In this video, I'll show you the difference between iPhone and Android, and I'll teach you how to buy a cell phone. This class will be a little bit long, but I'll teach you step by step all the things that I wrote in this whiteboard, so that way you can decide what kind of cell phone you're going to buy and all those things. So maybe if you're undecided, this video is going to be for you. So first of all, we are going to show you the type of operating system that there is for cell phone, or there are for cell phones. So in this case, the most used ones are Android and iOS. iOS is from Apple, for the iPhone. So in the market today, the big ones are Android and Apple, with the iPhone, and most of the programs and everything are made for those platforms. If you buy something else, you will find that you will not see all the software that you need and all the things. So I'll explain you I'll explain you right away all what you need to know. So in this case, all the operating systems that we have in the market, at least the most popular, are iOS, like I said, with Apple, Android that belongs to Google, but they permit or they allow all their companies to use their operating system, like BlackBerry, that just a little bit ago they released a new phone with the Android operating system. Also, you have Samsung, Motorola, and LG, and many other brands, maybe like unknown brands as well. And then you have BlackBerry. BlackBerry, like I said before, they have their own operating system, but like I said a few weeks ago, they released a phone with Android. And then you have a Ubuntu phone for those who likes Linux stuff. There is a Firefox OS, Symbian that used to belong to Nokia, or Nokia is the one that makes that operating system, like I said before. And then you have the Windows phone that belongs to Microsoft. Microsoft bought Nokia, and they are doing something. So if you're going to buy your phone, just make sure what are you going to choose. We have different types of users, or in this case, the gamer. So if you're a gamer, I'll talk about that. If you need the phone for work or for casual use or heavy use, maybe like me. And then if that is your case, I'll show you this. For gamers, what you're going to think about it is the platform, what platform you need. So in this case, it might be iOS for Apple or Android for Google. You also you have to think about the storage. Also, you have to think about the hardware and the screen size. So that is very important. Usually, if you like to play, you make sure what are the games that you are going to play with, and then try to choose the cell phone accordingly to your preference. Because if you like maybe some other phone, like has Firefox or Symbian or something like that, and you say, oh, but it doesn't have all the software or all the games that I want, so that would be a big mistake. So that is one thing that you have to think about it. Storage as well, because if you like to download a lot of games and all those things, you have to have a lot of room in your cell phone in order to be able to play. Also the hardware, because if you buy a crappy phone, like a very low-end phone or like a entry-level phone, you will have that issue. So that is one thing that you have to think, because if you buy like a slow phone, you're not going to be able to play with the big games. Like, they need a lot of RAM, a lot of processor power, and a very nice screen. So if you buy something that costs maybe $50, you're not going to be able to play the big games. Maybe a Tetris or maybe some a small game. That will be it. The screen size is depend. I mean, if you are maybe a little kid or you're going to give the cell phone away to your kids, maybe a little one because they have a little hands, that would be a good thing. If you're an adult, a teenager or whatever, maybe you want a big screen that would be better, like the iPhone Plus series, or maybe a Note 4 or Galaxy S6 or something like that. So it depends. Like I said, today we have the latest phone is iPhone 6s, but in 3-4 years more might be the iPhone 10 or something like that if they don't change the numbers with something else. So that is what you have to think about in this case. If you're a gamer, in case you're a worker, or if you want to use the cell phone to work, something that you have to think is, what are you going to do with the cell phone? Are you going to use it just for emails, maybe the GPS to go around, drive a little, I mean, surf a little bit on the web, and that's it? Maybe with a middle cell phone, like not something very expensive, no the entry level, you might be okay. Or in this case, always I prefer something like high-end cell phone. That would be great, because you don't know, maybe if you are using the cell phone to record videos like me or something like that, I need 4K and I need to be able to edit the videos with the iPhone. At least today, 2015, there is nothing that you can use on Android in order to edit videos in 4K. So you can record it, but if you want to edit them, you have to use a computer. So that is one thing. Then we have the number 3. So if you are going to using the cell phone just to make phone calls, maybe a text message, well, whatever you choose, that would be fine, no problem. In case you're like me, I mean, in this case, it doesn't matter the operating system that the cell phone has, because any phone, it will be good, I mean, to do the casual thing like SMS or phone calls. Okay, if you're a heavy user or heavy usage, you're going to use the cell phone a lot. You have to think about a high-end cell phone, like something that is going to be kind of expensive, around $800. If it is 4K, because you're using to take nice pictures and record videos, that will be great. Storage as well, because if you have to record many videos, take pictures, and download software, books, audiobooks, or whatever, it's always nice to have a lot of room in your phone. Other thing that you have to think about is the screen size. That is very important. So depending on what you want to do is what you are going to get. Another thing that you have to think about it is the backup or the battery, because if you are talking a lot on the cell phone and you need to get through the day and you have to call many customers, or the customer call you and you're on the phone all the time using the GPS, you are driving a lot and all the things, the battery will go down very quickly. So it will drain all the issues that you're having your battery. So that is one thing. It's the same like I wrote here, the talk time. So if that is the case, sometimes it happened to me, like I'm driving, I'm using the cell phone a lot, and maybe you're doing the PERISCOPE like me. If you want to follow me, that is great. I show you usually things behind the scenes, and I show things that usually I don't post on YouTube. And if that is your case, that you're using the cell phone a lot, what you can do is, or get a big phone with a huge battery. That is a good thing. Like the iPhone 6 Plus, usually it has a bigger battery because the phone is bigger. And the other option is get a Mophie. A Mophie is like a case that you can use in your cell phone. in the back of your cell phone, so that way you don't have to have like a external battery pack to charge the phone, so it is with you all the time, so that way you don't have to worry about it, and then you will have the two batteries in the same phone. You are going to have the battery that is inside of your phone plus the external battery that is all in the case. So I'll show you now in a little bit. So that way you can go through the day very easy, no problem. Even if you're a very heavy user, like you're using the phone a lot, that is what I mean. That will not be a problem. You will reach the end of the day very easy, no problem. So now I'll show you how is the phone. Okay, I'm back. I have the Mophie, so I'll show you here. As you can see, this is the Mophie, that is the brand, and here is the phone. I have an iPhone 6s, so this is very easy. The only thing you have to do is just remove it, and then you slide the cell phone inside, and then that way start charging like you see here. Okay, I'll just maybe on the top I'll show you. It's charging the phone, and if you don't want to charge it, you can disable it, no problem. So it's the same, and you can push the little button on the back, and then you know how full is the battery. So in this case, it's very useful. And you can charge if you want to do it fast. You can charge. I mean, if both batteries of the case and the cell phone are low, what you can do is just take the cell phone from the case, charge it with the charger, and do the same with the other with the case, and then you can charge them faster that way. So that is a little trick in case if you want to do that. Otherwise, you plug it just in the case, and then it will charge the phone and the case, but it will take maybe a little bit longer because there are two batteries instead of one. So that is one thing. Like I said before, if you're going to shoot videos or you're going to edit videos, you can use iMovie from Apple. It's free, and you can do everything with the phone, with Android, or I don't know any other phone that can do that, at least for now, 2015. Maybe in the future things might change, but if you have to do something like that, know about those things. Usually, if you don't have to edit video, maybe you can choose Samsung. That will be fine. But like I said before, usually iPhone works much better. I'll show you. I'll explain you a little bit on when I'm talking the other things that I have on the whiteboard. So another good thing another thing that you have to think when you're going to buy a cell phone is the visual. I mean, if your sight are very good, I mean, you can see very good, no problem. You can choose whatever size, so that will not be a problem. But if you cannot see very well, or maybe there is someone who is blind, doesn't see anything, what you can use, or if you see very little, is try to get a phone with a huge screen, so that way you can see better. There are options on the small phone that you can increase the size of the letters of the fonts on the cell phone, but sometimes if you do that, it will not look that nice. So if you can get a bigger phone, that will be good. And if you're blind, like I said before, there are usually the phone, Android and iPhone, both of them, if you are touching the screen, it will tell you where you are, so you can hear, and then that way you can operate the phone. Also, you can use Siri. So you talk to the phone, say, okay, I need to call this person or do something like that, and usually on both systems, on Android and iPhone, usually they work pretty well, and in the future it will work much better. Hand size. So if you're thinking, well, what for hand size and all the things, well, there is a little trick I'll show you right away. Here I am with the cell phone. So here is my cell phone. I'll show you. Let's see, this is my thumb. So usually with one thumb you can reach the bottom on the top of the screen, no problem. I have like a medium size hand, so that is one thing to think about it. And other people, you may think, okay, I can use it with both hands. Usually if you can use one hand, is much better, at least that is my opinion, depend of you. You have to think about it, because maybe you think, okay, I'll buy the huge phone, no problem, there is the maybe $50 difference or something like that. You say, well, I'll get the big one, I have more battery and all the things. But you're a girl or you're a small guy, and then you have a small hand, so and you will think, oh, it's huge. After a week or two, and you're thinking, well, it's not that comfortable. So I thought I should get a small phone. So that is one thing to think about it. One thumb, you can reach it all. Usually with the iPhone 6, the Plus is much bigger. So usually with this kind of phone, I like more the 5S. That's a little bit more smaller. It's a little bit smaller, so I can reach maybe a little bit better, but it is up to you. In worst case scenario, what Apple has made is when you push 2 times here, it will shrink the screen a little bit so you can reach the rest. And if you, when you do whatever, it will go to the normal size. So no problem. If you find that your finger is not that long, you can do that. I don't use it. I don't feel like that is very comfortable. I think a smaller phone is better if that is the problem, if that is your case. So that is one thing to keep in mind. We are going to talk now about hardware. So in this case, we have optimization, iPhone and Android. You may think, okay, they both are the same, but depends. Usually, when Apple makes phones or make computers or whatever they make, they think in the user first. They want to have, Apple wants the user to have a nice and good experience. That is what I want to say. And the other brands, maybe they have like entry phone or something like that. They don't care much about the user experience. So if the end user, they say, oh, this phone is slow, or the pictures are very good, very bad quality, I'm frustrated, I don't like it. That is a bad thing, at least it's a bad business decision. But Samsung make those options, Motorola and many other brands. So that is one thing. Don't think about it. Usually when you buy an iPhone, you have a good screen. It's very responsive. You have good materials. Usually the phones are made of aluminum. So that is a good thing. They are fast, and you won't have any issue. Usually if you have any problem, you can call Apple or go to the Apple store, and you will solve any issue that you may encounter. And with the Android phone, if you buy like a known brand, or maybe like I said before, maybe a Samsung, like a cheap iPhone, like a cheap phone that costs $50, $30, or $100. You don't know what you're going to find out in a few months. The phone at the beginning seems to be fast, but when you start taking pictures, when you start using it, and you start sending pictures or trying to use it, it gets slower over time. That is a very bad thing. People don't think about it, but when they start using it, they find those things. If you don't have much money, my recommendation is get an used iPhone that can be upgraded. So that is very important. Try to search for maybe 1 or 2 models behind. Surely it will be cheaper and it will do the job, no problem. Or if you want Android, for any case, you can do the same. Try to find maybe something used that is in good shape, and not buy something new that is low end, and it will not turn the things out as you want it. So depend the work. Maybe I'm going here again. I had, when I was in Argentina, working with repairing cell phones, computers, and all the things. When I used to go maybe do like a router installation, or maybe the customer have some problem with the wireless and was slow, or had some kind of interference, the customer doesn't know that. What I do usually is I use the iPhone, because I use the Android, because the Android has the app, or has many apps to analyze the spectrum, so all the wireless signal that you have around. If you're a big city, that it might be an issue that in the building, every person may have their own router, their own wireless router. That is what I mean. And then what happened is many routers are in channel 6 or 7, or let's say that most of them are in channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to use the channel that is less used. In this case, might be 11. So if you don't know much about wireless and all the things, you have to think that when you are going to buy a router, you have different channels. Usually here in US, you have channel from 1 to 11. That are your options, at least on the norm 2.4 gigahertz. So that is what you have to use. If you use something that your neighbor has, the wireless will not work well. You will not reach a very long distance. Might be slow. Will be like shortage of wireless or internet. So you may have you may encounter many problems. So with iPhone, I found that there are very little software to analyze the spectrum of the wireless network that you may have. So in this case, Android is much better. So that is one thing. Or you may have two phones. Maybe you like an iPhone for everything else. If you have to analyze and you have to go to the customer, you use an Android. It depends on you. You can maybe have a cheap phone just for that, and the rest for iPhone. It is up to you, but it's something that you have to keep in mind, depending on what kind of job do you have. So it's the application that you're going to use on the phone that you're going to get. We're going to talk about optimization. Like I said before, iPhone, when they make Apple, when make their iPhone, is they make the software and they make the hardware, and they're optimized to work together very well. With Android, usually it doesn't happen like that. Google makes the operating system, and then you have Samsung, Motorola, HTC, and many other brands. They try to put together the cell phone, the operating system with the hardware. It might not be optimized, and it might not work that well. So that is why you have those issues. And sometimes when you have to upgrade it, it's a pain, because there is no an upgrade for the phone that you have. But when you have an iPhone, you have no problem. Usually there is an update, and is available for everyone all over the world. So that is a good thing. We are going to talk about the carrier. So when you go to AT&T, Verizon, or Sprint, or any other carrier, usually when you get an iPhone, the phone is like it comes from Apple. The software is not being modified at all, so that is a good thing. It means works fine and great. And with Android, you don't have that option. Usually when you buy something from another, for the provider, that the phone is locked to work with certain carrier, that is the issue. Maybe you have like bloatware, a lot of crap on your phone, and then you will find out that your phone is not working that well. So it's slow. There is software that you cannot delete. There are many things that are bad about that. So if you have to buy a phone, try to buy like unlocked phone, you know, from the factory, maybe from Samsung, HTC, or Motorola, or any other brand that is unlocked from factory. It may cost a lot more, of course, but you have that benefit that it doesn't have all the crap from the carrier. So it doesn't happen with iPhone. If you buy lock in any company, they don't change, or they are not allowed to change the software. So that is a good point. So that is a good thing. We're going to talk now about interaction, this interaction with the hardware. So in this case, what I mean here is when you buy a phone, let's say that you buy an iPhone and then you install it on your Windows PC, and then you see that there is something wrong, and then you call to Microsoft, say, okay, I have this issue, maybe iTunes is not working well, I don't know how to do this, and they will say, okay, maybe you have to call Apple have to help you, or something like that. When you buy like everything from Apple makes computers, they make the tablet, they make the phones, they make everything. So you call them, and there is no excuse. So they have to be able to fix everything. So that is something to think about it. When you buy Android, you may call the company and they say, no, maybe it's a problem with the Android itself. We make this phone. I don't know, maybe some excuse, or maybe they will say, no, sir, we do this and this, we will try to help you, but depending on the country where you are, some of them are very helpful, and others, they are not. So that is one thing to think about. Usually when iPhone, you have to transfer the files to your computer via Bluetooth, or from the computer to the phone or to the tablet, and you can do it just very well, not seamlessly, no problem. When you have an Android and you want to use it like wirelessly, it's usually sometimes it doesn't work well. You have to start finding software that will allow you to do what you want to do, and all those things. We're going to talk about ports, Apple, Android. As you know, iPhone or Apple has two models. Usually it's the S and the Plus. So there is no way that you will have any problem finding a part. You can find parts everywhere. That is a good thing. With Android phones, depend. I mean, if it is very popular, you won't have any issue. You will find the parts. But if it's not that popular, or the brand is not well known, you will have problems trying to find this kind of parts. So if you want, before buying a phone, go to eBay or Amazon and try to find maybe a screen, or maybe speaker or microphone or something like that, or camera, and try to see what you find. If you don't find anything, try to search for another phone. So that is one thing. We are going to talk about accessories. We have a speaker, headset, Bluetooth. At least in this example, there are many more. When you buy an iPhone, usually, like I said, there are two models. If you buy something like maybe a code reader detector for your car, you know, if you don't know if your car is working well or not, these kind of things are Bluetooth, or they are wireless. And if you see on the description that it says, okay, it works with iPhone, you don't have to worry about it. You have two models, that's it, and it will work, no problem. When you have an Android, things are different. Maybe you buy, like I said, a speaker, headset, or something that is Bluetooth, any other accessory, and you will see, okay, it works with Android, and then you try to use it, and you say, oh, what happened? It's not working. Why is it not working? And then you try to read the manual. Maybe in the small letters it says, okay, it works with Samsung Galaxy S6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or Note 4, 5, 6, or whatever numbers there are in the future. And you say, oh, but I have a Motorola X. is not in the list, so it will not work. You find that's the kind of issue. So if you see this says Android, doesn't mean that it will work with every phone. So that is one thing. Usually with the accessories, usually for iPhone there are everything. With Android, because there are many brands, many models, and all the things, you will see that there is not everything for all the phones. I'll show you something that I have here. Let's say I have this lens. Maybe you don't know them. Maybe you do. It's like holo clip, and it works with the phone. If you want to have like a fish eye or something like that, so you can take picture yourself and you don't have to use the stick. So that is a good thing. I'll show you. I'll remove just the top, and then you can slide it in and you will see it works. I mean, I have to remove just this little plastic. This is the protector, but I mean, it works just fine. It fits great. When you start searching the same thing for maybe a no very known phone or something like that, you will search, you will find these kind of things, but they are like universal, so they are like a pin, for the cloth, maybe something like that. That it will hold on the lens, but you have to make sure that it fits well and it's not crooked or something like that. Otherwise, the picture are not going to be well, and something it doesn't fit well. Like I said before, for iPhone there are two models. The manufacturer, they don't have to worry about those things, and they make the accessories, and there you go. When with Android, you have plenty of models, and the body shape is different, so they try to make the accessory for the most popular phones, and that is one of the things. So if you work and you have to, I don't know, to use special lens or something like that, you think about the lens, about the phone, if it will fit or not, and all those things. We are going to talk now about removable batteries, or MOFI. So like I said before, there are many phones. For Android, usually they have like a removable battery. So if you are in the middle of the day and you run out the battery, you don't have time to recharge it, you pull the back plastic and you put the new battery. So you pull the back part of the cell phone, remove the battery, put the new one, and away you go. And that's it. Usually with iPhone you don't have that option. With the new Samsung, usually they remove that option as well. So you have to think. Like I said before, there are some that is possible, or others is not possible. In case you have to talk a lot and you need the phone working 24/7, you can use MOFI, like I showed you before, with the case that has the battery and everything, so that way your phone will last a little bit longer. The other thing, we have Android here in this point. We have a good, medium, and low end. You have to think about it. When you buy an iPhone, it's always high end. There is no low end, except if you buy an old phone. But if you go and buy a new one, all of them are high end. So you don't have to worry, but you buy it and it works. And you have a great user experience. With Android, like I said, you have maybe low entry, medium, or premium cell phones. You have to think. I mean, that is the bad thing. There are many crap things on the world, so that is one thing that you have to think about it. This is the user experience. When you buy, like I said before, if you buy an Android, it doesn't mean that you have the great user experience. It might work, it might not, it might be slow. I had, like I said before, jumping in the Apple world, I used to have, when it was brand new and super fast, Samsung Galaxy S2, and then I said, whoa, it works very good. I mean, before that I had a Motorola Defy, and it was great. But after a while, it started getting slower and slower and slower. And I had it after that in Galaxy S3 when it was new, and I had problem that I had many programs running and working and being very busy all day long, and maybe a customer called me, and then I move my finger to answer the phone like many times, and I couldn't answer the phone, and it was very frustrating. I said, why is that happening? And then you have to download the task killer and all the software to try to optimize the phone, because there are many programs running in the background, and you don't know that. If you don't know that, the phone gets slow. And with iPhone or iPad and all the things, usually you can open all of them and the phone will work fine, and you don't have at least that kind of issue. If someone calls you, you press the button and you answer the phone, and that's it. That is how it should be. So with the it may happen, like I said before, it was S3, I had S4 as well, Note 2, and all those big phone, high-end phone, and I had problem that they got slower over time. And that is one thing that usually with iPhone it doesn't happen. So that is the user experience. We are going to talk about the next topic will be post cell tech support. Usually when you have some issue with the phone, so who is going to help you? Your friend? Maybe not, or maybe they will. So if you buy maybe an unknown brand with Android, you say, okay, the phone was cheap or was good, or maybe they don't have any technical support in your country. Maybe you bought it from China and you are in US, and you say, well, what should I do? Should I send the phone to China? Or how are they going to help me if the phone doesn't work? If one day it happened to me with BlackBerry. When I had the BlackBerry, I used the BlackBerry with the alarm to wake me up in the morning, and one day I said, whoa, it's kind of late. What happened? I see the phone and there was like an error saying error 527 or something like that. I don't remember well. I removed the battery, I put it back in, and I turned the phone, and the same error, and the phone was dead completely. So I went to the place, I went to the carrier, I said, okay, this phone is not working. And I bought it like 3 months ago. And I had the protector, the phone didn't fall, nothing. It died just suddenly. They gave me a Motorola device. So that it was in the same country, the same company and everything. If you buy this cell phone elsewhere and they don't have tech support, that would be a problem. Usually with Apple, you have great tech support, at least here in US, it works wonderful. If you have any problem, you go to the Apple store or you call on the phone and they will help you, so that is great. Usually, maybe if you have another brands, I had, like I said before, Samsung, or Nokia, or all those brands, and sometimes you say, okay, take the phone to this place, and it takes like a month to fix it, and you don't have any phone meanwhile, and you have to buy another one, or ask someone to lend you a phone. So that is the issue that you may find. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this whiteboard. I'm going to write a few more things. We are coming back in a few seconds. We are back. Okay, here we have the iPhone, the software. We are going to talk about the software. That is very important. So if you have to buy software, usually for iPhone, like I said before, usually 99% of the software works great, no problem. Like I said before, Apple has 2 models and that's it. When you go to Android, that is why I wrote 90%. Sometimes it happened to me when I had the Android phone that you say, okay, I'm going to download this game or maybe this utility software, and it doesn't work. And then you read more and say, okay, it works with this software, with this phone, and this phone, but not yours. So that is one thing to keep in mind, we're going to talk about updates, iPhone, Android. Usually with iPhone works great, seamlessly. Like I said before, you click update and the way you go, it works. And with Android, depend on the phone that you work. That you have. Sometimes you click on update and say, okay, there is no more update. You have the latest one, and you have maybe the version 5 and the Android 5, and then you see that today is, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, depending of the year that you see this video. You say, what happened? What happened? Okay, the options are, you download the ROM for this phone, and then you upload it manually. It might be dangerous because sometimes you may break the phone. Sometimes things are not as well as you thought it was going to be, and you end up breaking the phone, or it might work fine. It depends. So, but you have to be a more tech savvy in order to do these kind of things. There are many ROMs available that are being modified ROMs. I have some friends that had those kind of ROMs in their phone, and suddenly they say, okay, I want to use this software, or maybe the Bluetooth with my car, and they say, oh, but it doesn't work, and there is a flaw in this software, and they cannot fix it, or they have to go to the website, wait for the repair, for the fix of that bug that they found in that ROM, those kind of things. So what I suggest, usually always use the phone the way it is, upgrade it, don't do anything weird, and usually you won't have any issue. We are going to talk about softwares, buy and sell. Usually if you buy a software from the App Store, everything most of the time works fine, no problem. If you find something weird, nefarious, that like I said before, Apple and Google, they search for every software that is sent to them, so they can add it to the Apple Store, or to the App Store, or to the Google Play, or whatever is the name, because Google usually they change the name. Before it was Google Play, and then they changed it. But besides that, if you download the software and I don't know, you want the software that will change the wallpaper, and then it makes sounds or do weird thing, you can call them and say, hey, this software is not doing what it's supposed to do. Usually those companies will say, okay, let me check, and if they see that there is something weird, they will delete it from the App Store, and then you will not be able to download it anymore, and nobody else. So that way you can help everyone else to avoid to get like bad software, or software that might be dangerous for your phone. So like I said before, they check all those things, but sometimes things slipped out, and then they don't see it. If they don't see it, you will end up with that software. We're going to talk about buy and sell software. So if you have to buy software, usually on iPhone it works great, no problem, and you can do the same on Android. Usually you have a more software that is free in Android than in iPhone, but both usually works fine, no problem. So if you have to sell, usually if you have to make more money, usually iPhone is the way to go, because people are used to pay and they don't have issue. Usually people from Android, they don't want to pay, they want everything free, they want to download pirate software and everything else, and it gets some kind of mess. It gets messy. So if you want to we are going to talk about continuity. Usually the only thing that has that feature is the iPhone. If you don't know what it is, okay, it means that you're using your phone, and then you receive a text message, and then you can check that message on your iPad, no problem. Or if you want to reply, you can do it the same. Or if you have maybe in your bedroom charging the phone and you're using your computer or your iPad. I mean, everything have to be Apple. You can reply, make phone calls from any device, so that is cool. Android doesn't have that feature as far as I know. They might implement it in the future, but for now, that is what they have. Even if you are browsing the web, you can be typing a text and then go to the computer and continue typing the same thing. And that is wonderful. You don't have to start all over again. Mail, browsing, experience, everything works fantastic. So the next point is easy to use. Usually you have Android and iPhone, and in this case, iPhone is always the same, so it doesn't change over time. I mean, they may add some new features that is great, but you know, the home button is in the same place, the rocket volume is in the same side, to put it in silence or not, the switch is in the same place. You can expect the same menus most of the time. In Android, it doesn't happen because there are many manufacturers like LG. LG may have the rocket button to, you know, a volume up or down, so it's on the back, or in another phone might be on one side or on the other one. So also the home button might always is in the middle, but it might be on the side, you know, the menu button or the going to back. I'll show you maybe here the different option, the different brands. So maybe you grab one Android and then you grab another Android from another vendor, and you will see that some stuff are very different. So in contrast with iPhone, everything that every iPhone that you get, it doesn't matter if it is one of the first one or the latest one, the menus are the same, the buttons are in the same place, so you won't have any issue trying to use one phone or the other. After that, we have the ecosystem. The ecosystem, it means all that is inside of on the phone. I mean, I'm not talking about the hardware, I'm talking about the software in this case. So if you want to use, like I said, the continuity, that is how it works. You can use it in everything. If you have, for instance, the calendar or the email or the notes and everything, you can go to iCloud and then type whatever, and then you go to your phone and you have the same thing. With Google is the same thing. I mean, Google, Android, if you go to Gmail, then you add things in your calendar, you go to your phone, you have the same things. You can sync your phone and your computer wirelessly, no problem. In both cases, it works great, no problem. So that is one of the things. The good thing is that with Apple, you can use, if you like Gmail, you can use Gmail, no problem. If you want to use the Google Photo, you download the software and you upload all your pictures, and you can make a backup of everything. That is great. Another thing, the next point, the next subject now is backup. Backup works great on iPhone. The only bad thing, at least for now, 2015, they give you just 5 gigs, and Gmail usually is like almost unlimited. It is like 15 gigs just for emails, if I remember well. You have unlimited for the Google Photos if you want to use that, and if you want to keep the same resolution that you are using, I think it's 8 gigs, and if you want more, you have to pay. Google Drive, I think, is unlimited, but usually there is some problem with the privacy. Maybe Google may search inside of your stuff, and iPad or Apple, I mean, in this case, they charge you, but they don't sell ads, so they don't have to search inside of your data. So that is a good thing. The appearance, usually the appearance is great. I mean, the iPhone, you know, is all aluminum, looks nice, it looks sturdy. very strong phone. Usually the competition, like all the Android phone are made of plastic, so it might be a little bit more fragile. And if you buy like a low entry phone, you buy the cheapest one, it will not look that good. Maybe the middle one so, and the premium, it will be good usually. About the lost feature phone and security. So in this case, if you lose your phone, iPhone is very easy. It has the application, the app called Find iPhone, and then you click there, or you go to iCloud.com and then sign in with your Apple ID password, and there you go. You will see where is your phone anywhere on the world. Meanwhile, the phone have to have a connection to internet through 4G or wireless. If it doesn't have any of that, you will not be able to find your phone, but it will tell you the last place where it was, so it will give you a clue if you have to try to search for it. So that is a good thing. About the security, what I said, security, it has an option. If you enable it, if someone try to access your phone 10 times, it will delete all your information, so that is a good thing. If you keep a backup of everything, so it will do it automatically, you don't have to worry about it. In Android, usually you don't have those options. To find the phone usually is a little bit more complicated than that is, and maybe you have to find a new software, or maybe Google have to add something else, or maybe the provider might remove that option, like I said, with the carrier, so that is a little bit messy. So the good thing with at least with the latest phone, that you can unlock it only with your finger. It usually works great, no problem. Otherwise you have to type, but if people try to use the wrong finger or type many times, over 10 times, it will delete all the information. Otherwise, you can leave it just disabled, like it comes from factory like that, and you don't have to worry. They can try 100 times and they are not going to be able to access your information, except if they guess your password. So try to have a strong password, so nobody will get in your information. The good thing is that you can lock it if your kids are not behaving well. I say, hey, make your homework or something like that, and they don't do it from your office, from the other side of the world. You can delete the phone, or you can block it. If you lock it, the kid will not be able to use the phone. The same with the thief. You can send them even if someone find your phone, like a message, okay, call me to this number. That way you can recover your phone, or you can send the option delete everything, and the other person will not be able to see all your information. That is a good thing about the iPhone. About this subject, fake phone. Sometimes people buy it in used ones, or maybe in a small business, or someone on the street, and then depend on the country where you are, and then you might find out that there are fake phones or clone phones, or you think, oh, this phone is very cheap, and you don't know why, and then you think, oh, okay, I'll buy it because I think it's cheap, and then you find that the phone is a copy, it's a clone, it's not the original. Usually with iPhone, it's very easy to know those things, because if you try to use your Apple ID and you cannot log in, it means that the phone is fake. Usually is that. Also, you can see the quality of the phone. If the phone is not good, you will see that if you are used to see real phones, you can see that very quickly. If you put the phone like that and you move it, maybe the angle of the screen, you will see that the picture change and the color change. So that means that the phone, the quality of the screen is not good. It may happen. You can do the same test with Samsung or any other brand. You see it. Also, another thing that you can do is grab an original phone, and the thing that you don't trust, and then try to see the holes, or in the case if you have an Samsung or maybe HTC or any other brand, and try to see if the holes of the screws are in the same position, if all the camera and everything else, if everything is where it's supposed to be. If you see that maybe it's not in the same position, it might be fake, or you can try to log in with your Gmail account. If you cannot use it, it means that it might be fake. I saw it in the past. Another thing that you can do, there are some software. If you have that issue, just let me know in the comment, pause the video, write me on YouTube. I'll send you the link. There is a software that tells you if the phone is fake or not, usually for Android. So the only thing that you have to do is download it. And if you have, for example, Android, if you have a Galaxy S4 or S5 or 6 or whatever, and then it will tell you, okay, if your cell phone is, if your cell phone has the processor, the chip is 1.5 gigahertz, and the one you have in your hand, it says 1 gigahertz, and if the one, if you see something like that is mismatch, it doesn't have everything that it's supposed to have, like the resolution, maybe the resolution is lower than the original, and then you will see on the screen on this software, in this app, and then that way you can know if the cell phone is good or not, or if it's fake or not. So you have to pay attention. There are many fake phones all over the world, so make sure that you get the good one. If you don't want to run in any of those problems, go to the Apple store, buy a phone over there, or go to the Samsung store or the Sony store or the store, some reliable store, buy there, and usually you should not have any issue. Customization, that is the last subject here. Like I said many times, the problem is iPhone is more closed system. They allow you to do certain things, and others you cannot do it. And with Android, because it's like a free software and everyone can do whatever, maybe you can change the colors or do something weird. With iPhone, usually not. You can use the jailbreak. I don't recommend that, because people who make the jailbreaks, the phone may not work the same way as the original. Also, you may run into some problems, like maybe the battery doesn't last as the original software, so it might do something weird. You're loading some code that you don't know who made it, and it might cause any damage on your phone, and you may lose the warranty. The same thing with the Android. People say, okay, this Android, I don't like it, I'll download a custom Android from from another site, and then they install in the software in this phone, and then the phone maybe stop working, or it breaks, and then you lose your phone, or the phone some function will not work. Maybe the Bluetooth will not connect with the stereo of your car, or maybe you cannot download certain software, or you may run in any kind of issue. So my recommendation is use the software as it comes. If you don't like it, switch it for another phone, and the way you go. So basically, the final thought is try to buy a new phone. If you don't have much money, I recommend to buy a used phone. Try to buy something from a reliable seller. If you do it on eBay or Amazon, try to see if the seller has a very good score, and that way you won't have any issues. I bought many used phones. I never had a problem on eBay. You can do your experience, or you can maybe go to Best Buy or the Apple store and say, okay, do you have an old phone, maybe like 1 or 2 models before, and the way you can save some money. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, or if you know someone who doesn't know what phone to buy and wants to watch this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.